Well, howdy, truck and tractor pool fans. We're back after a week hiatus and a night
A
hiatus.
week and a day, yeah.
Tyler Purnell. But anyway,
Way to go, Ty.
uh, we uh, we're gonna get Kendra started here real quick. How are you tonight, Kendra?
I am wonderful. I am sad that I'm not in Shipshawana, but you know, sometimes you have to be a big girl and have a real girl job. So,
Yes, this is very true. And
yep.
above you there, that way, is Andy and Joan Keene. And if you don't know who Andy and Joan Keene is, you don't come to East Coast Pro Pooling events very much. Andy is our premier star hooker of the series, if you will, and by that I mean
The PG rated.
he is the reliable guy that we all depend on. Yeah, PG rated, that we rely on to get the vehicles and the sled as one at the starting line. He is the chain dropper, the hooker, and Andy's been doing it a long time, and it's a little something different for us tonight. And I think after we get through some pulling introductions here for upcoming indoor winter events, it's going to be an interesting show to hear Andy's side of, or his side of pulling, his side of pulling, what he gets to see, what he gets to do. The stories I'm sure we probably can't tell on here that he hears at the starting line, but he is definitely. I've been around the sport a long time, and I've been around some of the United States, and Andy is, in my opinion, number one when it comes to hooking vehicles to the sled. And if you ask any East Coast, I shouldn't even be going into this yet because it's not your turn, Andy. But anyway, uh, you ask
Wait
any
your
pooler,
turn.
you ask any pooler uh, that's sitting in the seat, backed up to the sled, and they know Andy's back there hooking them, and they pull the chain tight. They know they're good to go, and there's not going to be any problems. So, very important. Promoters, listen in. Very important. Pay these guys to come and do your show. And that lady sitting next to him, I don't really have a whole lot of words to say for it. I'm just kidding. Joan is.
Ouch!
Thanks,
Joan
Jill.
is
For me.
like
Remember, I
you
never
started and you
said.
said I pick on you a lot, so this is my turn to pick on you. Anyway,
You're right. You're right.
Joan
She said.
Joan Joan is an extremely valuable asset and has been for, gosh, 5 years or so now. Filming
Longer,
for me
longer
and
than
these kids
that.
probably been longer than that, yeah. But she has filmed a lot of events and just as good or better than me, so I can't say anything bad about Joan Keene. Joan Mackey Keene. She used to be Joan Mackey, now she's Joan Keene. So, but anyway, we're looking forward to talking to them here shortly as the phone goes nuts. Sydney tested negative for COVID. Yay.
That's
That's a
good.
weekly thing for that girl. She's got to get tested every week at the hospital where she works. But anyway, Kendra, there's a little poll going on somewhere in Shipshawana, I think it's called.
Just little, just a couple people went out there. I do know from a little birdie that I think they're the 85 limited pro stocks out there.
Mm-hmm.
There's 2 tractors sitting in the lead right now, at least as of a couple minutes ago. So way to go, Blue Crew. Shipshawana, Indiana is happening right now. There is some live streams, so whenever we're done here, obviously, go watch your live stream on whatsmoking.net. But don't leave us. Wait.
That's right. That's right.
There was
Open up another screen.
Yeah. There was a session this morning at 11 o'clock, and the second session started 2 hours ago at 6. And Friday and Saturday, again, 11 o'clock and 6 p.m. You guys have heard me say the classes for the last 2-3 weeks, probably 4. Everything and anything out there. They don't have pro stocks, but just about everything down from there. They have some diesel trucks this year. They have mini mods, classic mods, everything. Whatsmoking.net, they are having a live stream. Like I said, every single session is live streamed. I think it's $40 a session, but it's the same people that come in and do Keystone. So it's a good show. A lot of good tractors out there. There's a lot of East Coast tractors that made the trek. And if you know somebody out there, they still have tickets available for Junior Munford's replica tractor.
Yep.
I think I should have screenshotted it. They posted.
I actually have that somewhere.
I was gonna say they sold an unreal number of tickets.
You keep talking, I'm looking.
I was gonna say I can't remember what, but I do want to give a
Right.
special shout out to Trackside Live, Forester Farm Equipment, and Allison Sled Rental at the Pennsylvania Farm Show this last weekend. It was kind of a last minute throw together thing, but we put together a pulling demonstration. I didn't really know about it till the week before. I would have really started plugging it.
Right.
But it was we did a pulling through the ages. So we started off, there we go.
That's it. If you don't mind blinking your eyes fast, why that's happening, I don't know.
We did a history of pulling. So we started with the tug of war style pulling with 2 putt-putts, then moved into the dead weight pull where people step on the sled as it's going down the track.
Wow.
Then we had antiques and then farm stocks, and then we had a couple. We had a modified, a small block truck, a mod turbo, a hot farm. I think that was it. It was about an hour and a half, 2-hour show. Did a full-on sled demonstration where people could see how the sled works. You know, all the the kill switch, how the kill switch works, everything. And I was pleasantly surprised at how many people we had there. And a lot of people, we had the opportunity for people to come down on the track, and a lot of people came down, said very interested in the Keystone Nationals, so that was good for them. And a lot of people came in and said, you know, we don't know anything about pulling. We were just looking for a place to sit down, and we sat there the whole time. So it was great for the sport. So kudos to everybody that was involved in putting that together. I think we just kind of threw it together, not necessarily last minute, but I think it was great for the sport of pulling. So good job, guys.
Good
And I
job.
won't say this too loud, but they had me behind a camera, so
Oh boy.
they had me taking video. I'm not used to that.
Oh boy.
So Jess, if you're watching, I'm sorry if it sucks. But I guess we'll see. Hey, free labor sometimes. You get what
That's
you get.
right. Can't complain about the price, right?
Exactly.
But that's the model there pictured,
Yep.
the replica. And Justin Stucker Snyder builds the best pulling models. It's amazing. So replicas. They're not models, they're replicas. Real metal, all the good stuff. So
I'm gonna see if I can see how many tickets they sold already.
Okay.
See if I can Facebook creep here a little bit. Do you want to bring up that other big pool that we have coming up here
that other big pool.
in like 8 weeks?
Starts with a K.
Oh no, not yet. There's others to do yet. I don't
Yeah,
know what
Oh,
Look,
okay.
look at his shirt.
Starts with a shirt.
but what's that, Joe?
Look at my
His
shirt.
There you go. He
Oh,
ain't he
look,
neat?
Jess is paying attention. It was so bad she hasn't even watched it yet.
Ah, okay.
No, I'm just kidding.
Oh boy. I do have. If you're done with, you go ahead and check on those tickets. There is another pool this weekend, Friday and Saturday in Williamston, North Carolina, and I'm gonna try to share this, hopefully without having to flash our eyes 100,000 times a second. Okay. There we go. By golly, it's the Duck Through 250 truck and tractor pool at the Senator Bob Martin Ag Center in Williamston, North Carolina, and that's at 2900 North Carolina Highway 125 South. Big Daddy Motorsports, Ken Whitley, puts this pool in annually. I've been there several times a few years back, and it's a really good time. It's a really good little pool. It ain't a little pool, but they have a good time down there. Classes are super modified two-wheel drive, modified four-wheel drive, the wheel standing mega trucks, which is like a mini monster four-wheel drive, if you will. The small block 4x4 trucks and the V8 modified tractors, and that is January 14th and 15th at 7:30 p.m. Again at the Senator Bob Martin Ag Center. For advance tickets, let's see, is there a contact here? You think I'd read this over before I bring it up, huh? Tickets are $15, $12 in advance. You still have time to get them. Friday, kids 12 and under are free. BigDaddyMotorsports.org. BigDaddyMotorsports.org. To get any more information and ticket information, that's where you need to go. So check it out. And then you have a number for us there, Kendra?
Yes. And to answer your question, Anthony, unfortunately, no, you cannot buy tickets online anymore. Everybody's already there at the pool. But if you know somebody out there, just give them a call and buy your tickets up. Pre-sale tickets, they sold $6,700 worth of tickets,
That's
which
awesome.
is incredible. And I think all that money is going to the FFA in Virginia. So
Yeah, right at the Mumfords. Hi,
request.
Chris,
Yep.
Pete Fish, and there's a whole slew of people over here in chat, and we thank you guys and gals for coming in and like, subscribe, share, hit that thumbs up. It goes a long ways, and feel free to comment even after the show's over. Feel free to comment. I'll do my best to go back and man, I'll give that job to Kendra. She ain't got nothing else to do. So
Yeah, it's not tax season or anything. No.
you had to say the T word, didn't you?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my goodness! But somebody said something about a pool that begins with K.
The Kendra pool. That's what it is.
Is that like that Ring commercial? What's that? Every kiss begins with K, or whatever they call it. Okay, there's your ticker you were hiring for. But I do have a new flyer that I'm sure Trackside Live did this.
That Trackside Live girl, she's incredible.
Yeah. I haven't met her yet, but I'll have to meet her sometime. But,
I think we might just have her on the show.
I think we should. I do believe there's some Florida events coming up that may involve that particular Forrester family coming up here in February. So, but here it is, Keystone Nationals indoor truck and tractor pool. We've been at it since 2008, and 17th through the 19th at the Pennsylvania Farm Show Complex in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. Slew of classes. KeystoneNationalsPool.com to get information, tickets, ticket links there. This banner is probably hard to read on the screen. I'm not quite sure, but we do have trackside box seating that's new this year. It's a $1,200 deal. You get 10 padded seats, programs, and you are literally trackside. You are right behind the jersey wall. So it's the best seat in the house. And it's not a metal chair either. It is padded. So we have sold a few of them, mostly pullers, but I have a feeling closer to showtime it's going to really take off on them. So we apologize. There's a couple little, we're going to call them Joan Keene crickets in the background there. That's it's all good. It's not that bad. If you hear them clicking sounds, that's for whatever reason. Poor Joan. Every time we have her on, she just there's some reason it's clicking on her, but and it could be the program. I don't know, but anyway, classes offered: 9,300 pound super farm, 10,000 pro farm, diesel super stock, alcohol super stock, 10,000 pro stock tractors, 8,500 mod turbo, the 6,200 modified four-wheel drive trucks, 7,800 pound interstate modified tractors, 8,500 pound light pro stock, very good class, up and coming. The ITTPA big block and small block, separate classes, big block and small block, mini modified tractors, the 7,700 light limited turbo tractors, 8,000 diesel 4x4 trucks, the 4,500 small block 4x4, excuse me, and three different classes of the 6,300 outlaw 4x4 invitational only trucks. Thursday, and I will say before I get into the others, there is a King of 466 hot farm class that we ran in 2020. It's a one and done deal. It's a King of the Hill kind of thing. It unfortunately is omitted off this flyer. I don't know why, but it is being run Thursday night, and I do know that we are encouraging those who ran in 2020. You have first option to get in that class, get signed up, providing you still meet interstate hot farm rules. And then once we open up, and I believe that's after Monday or beginning Monday, we open up to everybody. So I will find out more information and get that posted on the Keystone Nationals Facebook page, and we'll get the website people to get that updated also. But there is a King of 466 is the name of the class. It's 466 Hot Farm Interstate Rules. And Thursday and Friday, 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. Just make sure the times are correct. Thursday and Friday, the Garden Tractor Pull, and that is free to anybody who wants to come in and spend the day. Come in, sit down, watch Garden Tractor Pulling. Twin tracks both days. They put on a pretty good little show. Obviously, when that show is over at 4 p.m., you must leave the arena and come back in with your evening tickets for the big show. Again, that's KeystoneNationalsPool.com. For ticket information, prices, all that stuff is on that webpage. It's ready to go for you. So, whoo-wee! So we got through all that.
Yep,
That's
2
a lot to
months
talk
and
about.
counting.
Yeah, it's going to be here quick.
Yep.
Be here quick. So, and again, the handicap seating for Keystone, you'll need to call me. That information is on the webpage to reserve your handicap seating. Box seating also, you must call the ticket line, which is on the flyer and on the website, and we'll get you fixed up. So, if it's down in the general seating area, but it is down on the level with the track and literally right behind the jersey wall. I mean, it's going to be the best seats in the house. And 1,200 is not that steep, and you can walk in if you're running late or something. You don't have to worry about your seats there waiting for you. So,
and it's all 4 sessions for 10 people.
And it is all weekend only. It's being sold as an all weekend only trackside box seating. So very good. Okay, it's come to that time. I guess we're all done with. I hope we didn't miss anybody. Ray Kaufman had a poll yesterday. I missed it again. I totally slipped my mind, Ray.
We will blame it on the week off. That's what we'll blame it
That's right. Blame it on the week off. Playing catch up. But he had a antique tractor pull at the farm show yesterday in the same arena that the Keystone Nationals is held in. I saw some posts. I saw nothing but positive things, and sounded like it was a very good pull. And I am very sorry I missed it. Dang it! But I'm going to blame the Delmarva guys for not. Usually Richard McIntyre will send me a message. I'll get the hey. I'll just get the one word hey, and then when I see it, I'll answer him. And he'll usually let me know that your butt better be somewhere. But he didn't do that this time. So.
Tisk tisk.
Tisk.
Would have been your birthday weekend. Would have been a perfect opportunity to get away.
Well, I spent my birthday away camping.
Well, and extended.
It was cold, but I had fun. So.
Yep.
Andy Keene, Joan Keene, welcome to EEP Live. If anybody, again, as we said earlier, Andy is our dedicated hooker, happy hooker, whatever you want to call him. But Andy's been doing this a long time. Andy, why don't you just start and tell us who you are, what you do, and what you do for a living or whatever. The lady sitting next to you, you can talk about whatever you wish, then we'll get into hooking.
Keep it PG, though.
Oh, yeah. I always say I knew way too many stories about people. I'd get in trouble. So,
Including JR.
including JR.
Oh, not me. No, I'm innocent.
Well,
he learned his lesson from making me best man, didn't he?
yeah, you're right. Exactly.
Anyway, go ahead and tell us a little bit about yourself, Andy. Who you are, what you do for a living, and we'll get into it.
Well, Andy Keene, I've started going to tractor pulls in about 88. Went to the Buck some in the 70s and early 80s with my parents. And in 88, I went with a friend, took me there for a graduation present. And he said, since you graduated high school, I'll take you to the Buck. And I went to tractor pulls and I was hooked. I was like seeing the guys like Todd Went and Rich Lustig when he pulled the Super Stealer and all them there, I was hooked. So the next year I went and got a job there. And I was there over 30 years. That was 89. I started working there for Mike and the Buck. And, that's on the weekends. And my full-time job, I'm a heavy equipment operator for PennDOT. And so I drive tractor trailer and move equipment around for PennDOT also, and then plow snow in the winter. So, I started going to tractor pulls for something to do on Saturday nights.
Sounds familiar.
People. I originally started working there running the roller tractor and running pull around. And then I got into going with Earl Walker, who did the hooking before me. Me and Earl in Jersey would go to shows, Full Pool Productions with Rick Fight, which is now owned by Richard Love. I used to go to shows with them and then help work some of Rick Fight's shows. And I unhooked, and then Earl hurt his back. I don't know when it was. And he decided he wasn't going to do it, so I moved to the other end of the track and started hooking. And just been doing it ever since. So I met a lot of good people. Met my wife, thanks to Robert and Patty Martin. So
Yeah, that's a cool story too in itself. But, and you're fast. You know what I mean?
yeah, to drop 2 hooks and hook a kill.
Yeah, and you don't just walk out of the buckboard and walk around and point to the driver. You literally, I won't call it a full out run, but you don't waste no time.
No.
Well,
Waiting for you to slip and fall one day. I hope you don't.
yeah, the longer
boy.
they're sitting there running, I
He's
figured
fast.
that's they could be going down the track.
That's right.
They're sitting there running, especially it ain't so bad the super stocks and like some of the 4-wheel drives and diesels, but you start talking to mods, you know what I mean, and 2-wheel drives, they're a little different. You got to be so. And I had a good teacher. I watched Earl all them years, and he was just as bad. He'd run around there, So.
Oh yeah, yeah. I watched some old footage here recently when Earl was hooking, and there's not much difference between you two when you watch.
Well,
he would
only
drop
had
the.
one
Well,
hook.
back then it was one hook and a
Right.
kill switch,
Right,
and it was like bam, bam, and here comes Earl flying around the sled. So I know where he got it from.
right.
Earl is still moving that fast.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And I can
Say,
always tell
Earl
if
doesn't
he's
move
having
slow.
trouble.
Yep.
Yeah,
it's-
you can always tell when Joan could tell his first one. It's taking too long. I met a lot of good people. Met the Banner brothers.
Yes.
I never got to see them pull because they had retired until I started going when I started coming around. But I met the Banner brothers through it. What?
You're funny, Clint. Said you need to get out of the way so he can do his job.
Yeah, you're right. Clint's the one that runs the scraper tractor, so yeah, he's always me and him have always had funny. We mess around with each other, and then Ray and whoever's in the sled, and you get to messing around, and when you go to your as Mike Walker says, my John Travolta imitation.
Yeah, right.
Right. Yeah, you point the guys to pull front, and then instead of changing hands, you just turn with the same hand and point to the sled operator.
Yeah, I was gonna. I don't understand all this between you and Ray at times, but I figure you're griping at one another about something. So.
Yeah, that's Hooker Bob's thing. Hooker Bob does that, and that irritates Ray. So I do it just to mess around, something to do on Saturday nights. You get bored and you get tired. It's fun to joke around and have a good time. Everybody has a good time. So
Hooker Bob's another one out of the state of Missouri. He does a lot of the PPO national events, and Andy as well has done some road service for big.
Yeah, I went to Benson last year and got the hook with Hooker Bob. We hooked double track at Benson last year. So he hooked one track, I hooked the other. Of course, I went to Julian and got the hooked both tracks one time down in Julian at the Rudy's show when Rudy's was down in Julian. I hooked both tracks at Rudy's a couple times. So that don't keep you moving. So
yeah, I'm sure Bob's working hard this weekend at Shipshewana. So
Hooker
Bob.
So they say he wants to slow down. So that's what the rumor is. I hear.
Oh, okay. Huh.
Well, he's
either.
He's
right. Yeah.
I think he's in his mid-50s.
I'd say he's in his 50s. Yeah.
Yeah,
right around my age, I believe.
He's older than me. I'm 52. So
I'm flying double nickels for a year now. So this thing 55 Chevy. That's what I say.
Not yet. He's not that old yet, JR.
He will be.
I even took 3 years off from tractor pulling, and I still did 2-3 shows a year. I tried to take some time off and, spend some time just doing things with my daughter when she was little, and I still ended up doing 3 tractor pulls a year. So I realized I loved it too much. And of course, then I met Joan through pulling, and
Right.
so
The rest is history.
yeah, the rest is
The rest
history.
is history. What about without a decision maker sled being your number one choice, which it will be? What is your favorite sled to actually jump on and work? Do you have any favorites over the years, or?
Yeah,
Chris, you really-
the old bushwhacker sled.
Old Bushwhacker, yeah.
Yeah, the one that Temple has. Or I guess he still has it. He used to have.
It went to Sugar Grove, West Virginia, I think.
Okay.
That's where it's at now. He doesn't own it anymore. But,
Yeah,
A place you will never find this girl again.
yeah, you've been to Sugar Grove.
He had.
I have been to Sugar Grove.
There's lots of room in there to stand for where I stand on the middle, and it had a lighter hook, so it was always fun. And then there's a lot of room to get out, So like Carl Allison's old sled, that's not so fun because you got a gearbox that comes right to the front of the buckboard, so you can't. It's not so fun to hook, But
There's probably not much room to work in there, I'm sure.
no, not much at all. So, I've hooked everything from Pottenberger sleds to the buck sled,
The old buck sled.
Yep, the old buck sled. It's out in Newville.
Yep. Still in service today, I'm sure.
Say the Newville Nationals.
It's interesting. I've hooked sleds and unhooked sleds, and I even pulled sleds backwards with tractor, but I've never pulled a sled.
Oh, you never operated one yet? You've never operated one?
I've learned how to operate the Richards a couple times. I've sat in with Ray and learned how to run them. And I ran the old buck sled once or twice, but I've never pulled one forward.
Oh, I got you. Okay.
You know what I mean? Like hooked a tractor and actually pulled it.
I got the opportunity one time.
Yep, I've never done that. 30 years of doing over 30 years of doing this, I've never pulled. I pulled them backwards. I pulled them up and down the highway with this truck. Coming over from North Carolina a couple times. Richard asked me to bring a sled home for him. But
Okay.
never pulled one in competition, like hooked to it and pulled it. So.
That reminds me to Frederick 2019 Frederick.
Okay.
Weren't you in the semi getting pushed by the sled to get into the fairgrounds?
Yeah, that was an interesting time. Transmission went out in Logan's truck on the road, just off the highway, coming to Frederick. So Logan jumped in the sled, and I got in the truck because you couldn't let the clutch out. If you did, it jammed in gear. So you had to hold the clutch in. And so me and Logan fired the sled out and pushed it into Frederick. And I steered it.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, everybody was like,
I remember standing there.
Wait to get to the pools. So, Yeah.
I remember.
Can't believe it. Did all that and nobody got a video of it. So.
I heard
Way to
about
go,
it last minute. And
Yeah, I
we
still can't
turned and
believe
looked, and
nobody
here
got
come-
a video of that.
I know, it's hilarious.
The best is
then
here- Tommy
Go ahead.
Beggar talked about that because we were holding traffic up, and Tommy Beggar comes driving through going to Frederick, and he goes, "What the world's these guys doing?" Because Logan's jumping out, running back to the sled, and I'm running around the front of the semi to get in the driver's seat. And he goes, "What for Chinese fire drill are they doing?" And then Dave Moore was coming up the road in the car to see if he could help. And by that time, we had got the sled going, got it going, and Tommy's like, "I don't know, here they come." So, you know what I mean? Up the whole road we came. So
it's hilarious. I look at him coming in the driveway. They got through the dip and coming in the pits, and I'm like, why is Logan in the sled? And then it dawned on me, he's pushing the semi.
Yep.
Well, that's why I asked Logan. I was like, how did you even know when to stop? Because, when you're hooked up, you can't see the red lights. And he
Right.
said I could just tell by Andy when he would put on the brake. He said he could just feel it.
Right.
Okay.
He could just feel I was hitting the brakes. So.
But he got there in one piece and
Yep.
got the show in. So.
Yep, got the show in, and then he went down later in the week. I think Greeks went down and towed the truck home and worked on it at home, up at Greek's shop there next to the buck. So he
Susquehanna
And we
Truck
had a house
Service.
guest for a
so
week.
yeah, we had a house guest for a week. So that's how it got started with Logan staying with us when he comes up. So
You had a house guest or a house pest?
Nah,
he's a good
he's a guess.
He's a guess. He's a good guess. So.
Yeah, he pretty much he's stayed with
I
us enough now that he knows where everything is in the house, and
We just give him a key and he comes and goes as he wants. So.
Yep.
Right.
And sometimes even one of our vehicles.
Yeah.
If
He,
you were a truck driver, you would know how to get stuff done no matter what it takes.
You're right. So,
Yep.
Yep. So we did.
Ah,
We
Sarah
got it.
Smith.
Go Clint.
Yeah, it's oh yeah, Clint's he's quite the commenter on here. We ought to just drag him in here one night and just put him on the spot. What do you think?
Mhm.
So he's another one that's got stories. I'm sure.
Oh, I bet.
You know,
I bet.
he can tell you how he started the pullback tractor for the sled. He did that
Okay.
a lot of years.
Yeah, that was a common thing before the motorized sled started. Yeah.
Right. So the first
Yep.
motorized sled I saw was Paul Stahl's.
Mhm.
So,
Rebel sled.
Ronnie Hickson. They were the first ones.
Yeah,
I ever
Ronnie
saw.
Hickson. Yep.
So,
Yes, indeedy. You're showing your age, Andy. You're telling your age. Tone on yourself.
so that's all right.
Yeah, but you're agreeing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
I was there.
I think and over the time now, when you hear guys talk about, oh, we have 2 or 3 shows in a row. Well, we used to have the last week in July, we had what we called Hell Week.
Hell Week, you bet.
We would start
Last week of August for Interstate.
right. It was the last week of July. We would go Tuesday to Cecil County Fair.
Yep.
Wednesday was Lebanon Fair.
Yep.
Thursday was Winchester because it was their fair. And then we would come home from Winchester and go right to Hartford County to Bel Air. Friday night, Saturday afternoon, and then leave Bel Air Saturday afternoon and run right to the Buck for Saturday night. And then
Yep.
turn around and go to Sussex County, New Jersey for Fike Show, for a full pool show.
Yep.
And then they did 2 shows that night.
Crazy.
They would take a break between the 2 shows.
Yeah.
So we'd have all them shows, and then we'd always say we'd go back to work Monday for a vacation.
Yep.
So
Yeah, that's crazy. But gosh, what else? Let's see. Well, we never really got the true answer which sled you prefer to hook. Obviously, it's decision maker because that's really who you really work with all season.
Yeah.
Really.
you know, I've hooked decision makers, Paul Stalls. I've hooked you
Ricky's.
name them, Ricky's. So
Yeah.
you know, they all have their little. I can't say I can choose one over the other. Yeah,
Right.
the old Bushwhacker was, you know, nice to, but of the new ones, I can't say because they all have little quirks. They all, you know, they all have certain things I like about them and things I hate about them. So you know,
And the funny thing is there's so like select people that know those things. The people in the crowd have no idea,
right?
and that's just so interesting to me.
Right.
Like,
Like 4-wheel drives love pulling Logan sled.
yep.
Logan Thomas's, you know, and some of them love pulling Rays, you know, so that's.
Oh, you hear so much of that in the pits, you know, when
Oh,
they
yeah.
see which sled is there, and I'm like,
Right.
there can't be that big of a difference. And then, of course, that starts an argument, and like, whatever.
Uh-huh.
Like if you go to the Buck, you come to the Buck, or you go to a show where 2 of the decision maker sleds are there. First thing you guys all ask me, or you know, which sled are we pulling tonight? Well, you know what I mean. You know, 4-wheel drive guys all like Logans, you know. So I know.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah. We change gears based on who's operating the sled, what sled,
Okay.
you know.
Sure.
Oh, these guys will let you get more speed going before they hit
Right.
you, or
Right.
yep. And that's stuff that nobody in the stands thinks about or knows. They just see the show, and I'm like, there's so much more to it. Strategy, everything.
You know, then you get Andrew Grove. Always says that
Oh,
I'm his favorite
He's a
hooker.
quitter. We don't talk about him.
Andrew Grove. Andrew Grove
I
says,
like Andrew.
yeah. Andrew Grove always says that he'll always say, "Oh, the good hooker always did it again." Because one year we went to Shine, and he did nothing but bounce every run. I mean, really bounced. And I walked over and told him, "Well, you know what? The next show we went to was an East Coast show somewhere, and I hooked him, and he didn't bounce one time." And I said, "That's because I didn't hook you out at Shine." And he goes, "Dude, it wasn't a bit." So that's kind of got to be a running joke. So.
That's funny. So, what national events? I know you mentioned Carolinas. Have you done anything at Shide yet, or any
Uh-uh.
hooking out there or anything?
No.
Okay.
We went the one year we went. I was on backup in case somebody needed a break, but Shide had their own guys, and Bob was on the other track. So
Yeah, you're not
I
going
ended
to
up helping
kick Bob out of the way.
Yeah, I ended up helping move weights, and we ended up helping with weights and everything else. So
Okay.
We went Canfield.
yeah, we went to Camfield
this
this past year, and I hooked on Mears's track,
Okay.
Camfield. So
And that was a decision maker sled.
yep, that was Logan.
I do that.
Mark Bingham was on Richard's track, and Logan was on the other one.
Okay.
So
You and Logan don't get that.
yeah, we do some, but Logan's doing his thing to hook the sled. You know what I mean? When he's got a routine, like I got a routine when I'm hooking, and he's got a routine in the cab. So he's, he does his routine, and I don't do that as much as I do with Ray. So
I could imagine if Logan's trying to hand signal you back, it's going to be slow like a southern drawl.
yeah,
It won't be the quick
he does.
Pennsylvania Dutch talk. It'll be the slow drawn out.
I will do stuff to Logan, and all I did is either a big laugh or a big smile, or he just shakes his head at me. Ray's the one that always gives me a hand signal back or something back. So
Which you have caught on video, JR.
Which I have had to edit out.
Yeah.
That's why I had questions.
That just shows
Okay,
you
what were they
a good
talking about that
video,
time?
girl.
Yeah.
But we have to keep
Comical.
this PG, so we digress.
Yes. It's comical. Yeah, we won't talk about the mud flip. We know what that means.
Oh,
Clint.
Yeah, Richard.
We don't give away too many secrets here.
No.
We know what the mud flat flip is about. So.
Well, there is a thing. If you see both mud flaps go, that's usually an emergency. The sled operator's got to go to the bathroom.
I got you. Well, there's one I didn't know. There you go.
Yep. That's happened a time or two. You see both mud flaps, you turn around and look. Oh, wait a minute. You turn around and look, and he's like jumping
Coming out of the cab.
I gotta go to the bathroom.
Awesome.
Which usually never happens, but it has. So
You have won some awards too here recently. You want to tell us about those you won?
Oh yeah, I won the Gary Mills Award for promoting tractor pulls. That was one award I
Person of the
always
year.
wanted.
Mm-hmm.
I would say Gary was one of my favorite pullers.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mine too.
and then I won the first ever Behind the Hook Award given by Ray Kaufman and Decision Makers Sled. So I won both of them. It was always that was really fun. That was neat to do. So
Maybe I should include you in the Hooker of the Year award, so I can just go ahead and make the award early, and because we know you're going to win it every year.
yeah, Earl's won it a couple times. So.
Oh yeah, I don't. Yeah, pullers aren't going to beat that number, so
No, that's
for sure.
Yeah, I tried to keep count one time, and I think it was over 2,000 times I dropped the hook.
But
I can't remember. So
Times 2.
yeah,
2 hooks now.
yep. Now you can do 2 hooks. So,
Yeah, right, sure.
So
Yeah, the hooks have definitely evolved and gotten heavier and bigger, and
right.
Mm-hmm.
That's
that old back. You say you what? 51, 52?
52.
Yeah, you'll be retiring from that. I guess as long as your back holds up.
Right.
Yeah.
Everybody asks me, what are you going to do when you go to retire from that? So I don't know. Find something else to do. Tractor pulls. I used to run scraper tractor.
They get back on the scraper.
Yeah, a run roller, scraper, pull around. I don't know. There's always something to do with tractor pulls.
You could always pull the sled too.
Yeah, I could
Maybe
be a
somebody to
flagger.
sit you in the driver's seat and let you have at it.
Yeah,
flagger.
I flagged some.
Chase his wife around the pools.
Yeah. Usually answer the phone. Hey, we need the fire extinguishers down there. You didn't get
I
them
love
out
it.
yet.
Oh
JR
yeah,
is just like silent.
I ain't saying a word.
Oh,
The
come
things
on,
I
JR,
have
that's so
seen.
fun.
The things I have seen, accidentally, but anyway, we'll leave it there. And it reminded me today. I posted a modified four-wheel drive truck video from Winchester 2015, and I know it was around that time frame when I walked in on somebody. So, but anyway,
Yeah.
Whoa.
it's kind of
Yeah.
like your deal, Kendra. We don't discuss what
Just
happens
don't
at the
discuss
hearth.
anything
That's right.
other than at the track.
That's right.
Motorhomes are included in that hauler thing. So, but anyway, I guess you say that we'll talk about the Joan and Andy thing here. You being introduced by the Martins. I know this might get a little touchy for Joan to talk about, but tell us a little bit about that.
Well, first time I saw Joan was in Winchester. We were still pulling down there. And
Me too.
She was talking to she was talking to Patty Martin, and I was like, and I asked, I had just divorced from my first wife, and I was like, started doing the pools again with Earl, and Earl said about going to Winchester with him. I said sure, and then I saw Joan talking to Patty, and I asked Patty who she was. Well, I only saw her about once that summer, and then the second summer I seen her 3 or 4 more times, and finally got the courage up to talk to her, and was at Bel Air the first time, and I really got to talk to her. Well, I was going to ask her out one of the next weekends. She was at the Buck, and I was going to ask her out, and her friend that they go to pools together was Matt Stauffer, big redheaded Matt.
Yeah,
They came together, and I was like, I was so disappointed. I thought she had another boyfriend, and I didn't know they were just friends. Oh man, I was going to ask her out, and then a month later I did anyway. So,
Right.
and then we ended up dating, and I remember the first time I told JR I was dating Joe. It was before the Buck pull off on Friday night down there hanging out.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And I told you I have been dating a girl, and you go, who? And I told you it was Joe Mackey, and you were like, what? So,
Yeah, because by that point we
haven't told anybody.
We hadn't told anybody. We've been together.
No, yeah.
We
You're
were
right.
like 3 months we were together. So,
Yep.
So we didn't tell anybody. So.
How about that?
And then the year Mike did the free wedding at the Buck, remember? You could enter and you could get married at the Buck.
Yes.
Yeah, that's everybody thought we were doing it that summer. I said, yeah, right. So we weren't doing that. So I like the Buck, but I don't think I would get married at the Buck. So
Yeah.
My father would have shot me.
That thoughts crossed my mind, but no. We're going to keep it simple, I think. So,
yeah. So
not to say that I'm getting married, but yeah. And if you heard that, dear, yes, don't worry. We're going to get married.
White church.
I didn't hear nothing bounce off the office door here yet. So
She's trying to be nice.
Well,
we travel around that. I've been to pools, antique pools, at Rough and Tumble, Kinzer, and I just stand there in the crowd, and somebody hands me a flag. Hey, you want to work? I guess after doing it so many years, so
yeah, it's hard. It's hard not to go to a pool and sit down or try to watch it or something, and it lasts about 3 to 5 minutes.
Right. I went to our local fair here in Lampeter one time, and that was when Lancaster Tractor was still in business, and they were pulling the sled back with the tractor, and the salesman happened to know me from the Buck, motioned me to come over. I ended up running the pullback tractor half the night. My kids are pulling. I want to watch. Okay, you want to come over here and run this? I end up pulling the sled back. So it's just the things that people do. So.
2 weeks, Mike, huh? Wife
What did I miss?
One might not agree on that.
So,
yeah.
I've met a lot of good friends, and hadn't met my wife, of course, and I've had a lot of fun hanging out at the tractor pools. We've all had people we've met, and everybody at the Buck crew at one point. Yeah. I could say we're all friends. We could do things for each other. We hang out on Sundays sometimes, and so. You
Yeah,
met,
it's
a,
one
and met,
thing
and met a
about
lot of good pullers over the years. You know,
absolutely. You
and
bet.
a lot of people that I don't even remember their names. So
It's
Guilty.
one thing about pulling is, you have your family at home, but
Right.
all summer long, you're always with family. You're just
Right.
with your other family.
Right.
And pulling is family. I don't
Oh,
care what
yeah.
anybody says. And, you
Right.
get a few hotheads here and there. You have a bad day. But
Right.
when it all boils down, banquet time and stuff, and it's family. I mean,
Right.
that's,
Took my
it's,
took my daughter to tractor pulls when she was just little. And she'd sit in a registration trailer with Tina Moore or whoever was there, and they would watch her. You know, what I mean, now she's not so little. She's 18 and senior in high school. So,
Yeah,
and
Jay.
she still likes to go. So,
that's awesome. That's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
So,
Yes,
Makes you
Joan.
feel old, doesn't it, JR?
Yes, very much. I remember when she was that little squirt running around,
Uh-huh.
yeah. So,
Yeah, I used to sit in the booth next to you when we go to dinner.
Yeah, yeah.
yep. So,
She was my date
That's
yep.
right.
Yep.
more than once.
She,
Yep.
and she still talks about that, how she gets to be your date.
Yep. So,
That's hilarious.
and then Ray,
Mhm.
of course, we go to dinner with Ray about once a week. And
Mhm.
then she comes along, and Ray messes with her, and she just so.
She can hold her own. I'm pretty sure of that.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So
Oh,
she,
yeah.
we have a great time. So.
Yeah. Yep. She grew up to be a good person so far, and I'm sure she's headed in the right direction with that. So
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
thankfully, you're lucky. You're fortunate because I know some people really have their hands full.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the first person that pops into my mind is Kenny Barnhart. That poor guy.
Oh, whatever. I didn't start getting mad till like 25, so
Yeah.
about the time I started like tractor pulling seriously.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Imagine that.
Yeah.
Imagine how that happens.
Them blue tractor guys, I tell you.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think one of the first, and it's ironic. We actually, the first time my ex-wife and I talked to Robert and Patty, and Ray Link and his wife Patty, was Fort Recovery, Ohio. Not here at home, but we just happened to be walking by in the pits at the fence, and they were standing there, and Bonnie stopped and said something to Patty, and so we stopped and started. That the first time we talked to them. I'm like, it's sad that you got to go all the way to Ohio to finally talk to somebody that's right in your backyard
Uh-huh.
all summer long.
Yep.
But,
Yep.
it's weird. It's weird how that is. There was something else I wanted to say too. With old brain, I forgot. So, Kendra, you have anything you'd like to ask them?
Well, I have an update from Shipshawana. That's what I got. That's what I've been doing over here.
Sorry, Kenny. I understand, Kenny. I understand, buddy.
So 3 blue tractors made it to the finals.
Very good.
Smith, Shane Scott, and Bradley Seal.
Oh, wow. Good for Bradley.
Yeah,
Awesome.
good for Bradley. Mark Smith, Clayton Sweeney, and Ben Flaherty unfortunately did not make it to the finals.
Oh, my.
So,
Wow.
I was hoping Clayton would, just because I
'Cause
know
of
he's
Junior.
pulling for
Yep.
Thurman.
Yeah.
but I'm sure they're all still having a blast because
Oh, I'm sure.
And I
Clayton
can
just
promise you,
retired from
yes,
the services. Thank you for your service, Clayton.
you bet.
I know
Thank
I'm
you,
sure you're
Clayton.
not listening.
Oh,
oh
he
no,
ain't
they're
listening.
definitely drinking beer right now.
Oh, I'm sure they are. And
Not that there's ever any drinking and pulling.
Yeah,
Yeah,
hopefully they're
especially
having
at
one for me.
Gordyville or Gordywana. Yeah, they actually. What time they call me? They called me at like 8:30 last night, and they're like, "We're coming through your neck of the woods. Come down and meet us for dinner." And I'm like, "It is 8:30 on a Wednesday. Absolutely not.
Yeah.
I am not coming down to a steakhouse in Hagerstown. No."
Are you crazy? Were they buying?
Yeah,
Didn't
really. If they
matter.
were buying, I'd be like, okay.
Wow.
This girl likes her sleep.
Yeah, but a free steak dinner?
Yeah.
True. Yeah, but with Clayton Sweeney and Jamie Hall and
Oh,
Ooh.
and Randy, Devon, and
Oh, God, that's
Howard.
true.
That's a crew.
Yeah.
Oh, I've been on some excursions with Randy Devon. I can guarantee you, it's.
And
Yeah.
put Tommy Wilkerson
It's
in
over
there,
there.
boy, wouldn't that be a pep?
Yeah,
I've been
hung
with
out
that crew,
Randy
too.
Devon and Tommy Wilkerson.
I've been with that whole crew at Louisville a couple times. It's
Yeah, I hung
stories I
out with
can't
them
tell.
at Bowling Green.
So, but I guess Andy, I ask you, in all these years hooking, what's one moment in pulling, be it disastrous or congratulatory
Fantastic,
for
yeah.
a super pull or something like that? What's one that stands out in your mind? I'll tell you what, we'll make it a two-part question. Part A, what was the nastiest hook you've seen?
Moody Blues at Port Royal.
That's
Come down the
exactly
track
which
and
one
end
you're
up
talking
being sideways or being
about. Into the wall. Yep.
into the wall.
Yep.
Between that and I can't remember the tractor that was sitting with the bushwhacker sled across the track at Bel Air. It was a pro stock. They come up the track and the sled got sideways and when they was set and done about 200 feet, they were sitting totally across the track.
Wasn't that
I
Tommy?
think I would remember that, but I don't
I think
remember.
that was Tommy.
Wasn't it Tommy Wilkerson?
I think it was Tommy Wilkerson. They were scary. They were about the two scariest I've seen.
Huh. Yeah, I don't remember that one. That might have
Yeah.
been before I was coming around.
That
or
might have been
something.
before you were there. I was running scraper and I looked up, but what the? And he was sitting
Yeah.
across the track. The sled and tractor sitting totally
Yeah.
across the track.
How about you, Joan? Do you have a scary one?
I'm gonna say I've been to Bowling Green, so I've watched.
That counts too.
Oh, I've seen minis go 360
Mm-hmm.
and end up. Was there when all jacked up, blew the motor out the front.
So was I.
Same
Same weekend that mod lost the motor. 4-engine mod lost the
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
went
Same-
rolling up
motor.
the.
Rolling up the track, still running, rolling up the track.
Mm.
I'm
So,
trying to think as far as.
I think one of the most prettiest runs I ever seen was years ago. We used to pool at Crownsville. Nancy Weller running her dad's tractor, the stair step motor one.
Mhm. Mhm.
She come up the track and it was just picked up beautiful and come right up the track. And just I looked at her after and I was on hooking that night. I think that was one of the most beautiful runs I've ever seen. If you ever been to Crownsville,
Oh
Where
yeah.
back
Yep.
now, if we pulled there now at 320, you'd be going down the hill. So you know, remember how that track was at 300 feet? You were starting to go down the hill. So
Clint, you and that spell check. That would be Richard Lustig.
Oh,
Yes, that was a bad one. Yeah.
Yeah, that was a bad one. The only person hurt on that night was Earl. He got a cut across the top of his eyebrow
Okay.
that night.
Wow.
So yeah,
I'd say.
Mike
Go ahead.
found wrist pins laying under the bleachers.
Oh yeah. Yeah, they're
That-
violent when they come
when
apart,
he
especially
blew
back
that
then. Before,
Before all the side shields and
well,
I was
he had
actually
side
the
shields,
one-
but
the internal shields and all that. Yeah.
Right. I was actually the one that pulled him off the tractor. Off the track. I was running pull around that night, and I just come up around the end of the bleachers, and and the hood was up. Of course, we cleaned up, and then when they started to pull him off, I remember Rich standing up on the tractor looking down in the block, and the tractor was still in gear, and the crankshaft was still going around,
wow.
and you could see the block wobbling.
Yeah,
Mm.
that's crazy.
Yep.
Yeah, I remember Josh Martin's explosion at Gordyville.
that's what I was thinking, JR.
Dairy
Yeah.
deer.
Because I
Yep.
was standing
Dairy
right
deer.
behind you when that happened.
Yep. I've seen, of course, Mike Wright, 1976 or 77, with the Glory Seeker broke in half at the
Okay.
Buck.
That
Super
was a little
stock.
for me.
Thanks, buddy. But let's see. Of course, Tommy Beggar with his, tractor-ending explosion at Bloomsburg
Yeah.
prior to the Patriot that he has now.
Right.
That was violent. But I would say Dave Snyder's with Art Alfonso's old tractor at the Fort Recovery. I don't remember what year. one of the engines exploded, and that was just holy
Coleman Wheatley.
crap.
Coleman
Yes.
Wheatley blowing his up at the buck.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
it about split in half until we got it in the hauler. So
yeah. I've seen a couple of them come apart pretty bad at Louisville. One of them was a super farm. It went to leave the line and literally jumped and broke in half. I want to say Green Power. It was 7710 style tractor like Robert's 2.
okay.
It broke, and then one of Wildman's. I think it was one of the Wildman tractors, or maybe it was Dennis had John Deere Pro Stocks from Michigan. I can't think of his last name off the top of my head, but it laid the block over on the track too. I was there for that one. But, yeah, some crazy stuff.
One, I was hooking at Port Royal for Fike one time, and semis were there, and Tom Lindsay was pulling his cab over. And he come down the track about 225 feet. It just quit. I'm like, what the? And I walked up to unhook him, and as I walked by the door, and I said, Tom, what happened? He had a big grin on his face. He goes, too much frame flex. Pushed the fuel shut off on the injection pump. 225 feet.
Oh yeah.
Died.
Oh yeah. That truck would twist up, man.
I didn't know what happened. So, yep. Yeah, I remember watching that truck, watching the windows pop out, pulling.
That thing would twist up. Pretty bad. That thing was a torque monster, man.
Yep.
I'd love them to come back pulling. Even if they step back and run, if you will, our limited pro stock semi class, that would be awesome.
Right.
That would be awesome.
Right.
I do miss watching them.
Him and Dana.
Yeah, they would put on a heck of a show.
I think that was, I can't say, a favorite class because there's been so many and so many good people, but I'm a truck driver, so I like the semis.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I like them all, but it's a good
Right.
class.
I'm a truck driver, like the semis. Of course, I love the diesel pickup guys. They're all fun. They're a good group of guys.
Oh man, you had to go there, didn't you? We're going to start with the pickle comments now.
Right.
Yeah, I like Norm. He's a nice guy.
Absolutely.
They're all good.
He's
group of
okay.
guys.
By the way, y'all don't know this, and neither does Norm, but he's coming on.
Yeah, right.
He's on here live.
Yeah,
Coming
okay.
for you, Norm.
So
That will be the day.
Make sure you ask him about his finger.
I think it's all healed up now. I haven't
hope
seen it.
so.
Yeah.
It looked a whole lot better at the banquet.
At the
than
banquet,
last time
yeah.
I'd seen him.
It looked disgusting.
Yeah, yeah. It looked pretty rough that first time I saw him.
There is an old saying that I can't say here about where you put your finger. You don't put your finger where you wouldn't put your, but we're just going to leave it at that.
Yeah. Well, apparently that day he decided to put his finger where it shouldn't be.
If I offended you with that, I'm sorry, but it's funny. It's an old saying.
Uh-huh.
I think
It's
some
very
of the
true.
and some of if you've been around all these fun people over the years, of course, Mike and Linda Ziegler, they're been great friends, and they're a hoot.
Yeah, you gotta love Linda.
You gotta love Linda.
Oh my goodness. Oh, you got to travel with them just one time.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
awesome.
yeah.
It's
Well, I
awesome.
can't wait to see Paige run it this year.
Yes, yeah, that is something. The granddaughter is taking over the wheel of the Iron Butterfly this
Just
year.
a little heads up,
Yep.
there's a lot of new construction at the bottom of the track right now.
I saw
Oh,
that
yeah.
on Facebook.
Yes. The
Mhm.
old registration building, is office and everything is gone.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, it's
It's exciting.
Yeah.
it is exciting. It's nice to see some change. Wish them all the luck.
Right.
Yep.
I do too.
That's a big step in life to take. I commend him for
Right.
taking that step. It's a big financial responsibility, and he's not sitting still. By golly, he is taking the
No.
ball and running with it. So
There's
for
not
sure.
too many weeks that you don't see anything on their Facebook about new events or anything like that.
Right.
So good for them.
Right.
yes,
Mhm.
Right. So
Bringing the blown mini tractors back after
Yep.
many years at the Buck and some other things. He's got a Run With Your Brung truck class coming in.
remember who hit the wall in a mini at the Buck, JR?
Oh, my goodness gracious.
Bell,
Dude.
No, I don't
Bell
remember.
Blosser.
Bell Blosser hit the wall at the Buck. Wow.
Yep. And come out of the seat up onto the motor.
Wow.
Right where the track crew, remember when the measuring crew used to stand?
Mm-hmm.
Yep, they happened to be moving. That was right before I started working there. That was in '88. I was there that night. I happened to be sitting in the stands. I'm like, wow. So,
Oh, that time of life, I wasn't pulling. I was.
You said, "Wow, I want to be down there."
yeah. And I did. I used to be the on hook guy. If you name it on a pulling track, I've probably done it at some point. So.
Well, at least you can say that, and you still looks like you still got some years under your belt. So.
Yep. I plan on doing it. I always say I work at tractor pools because I can't afford to have a pulling tractor. So it's my way of giving back to the sport.
That's right.
So
Yep.
I
Very
met a lot of good friends over the years, and I've enjoyed it immensely. So, and all
That's
my
what
friends
counts.
are there, so I wouldn't know what to do on a Saturday night in the summertime. So, after 30 years, I still,
Yeah. And you can even say you had a bachelor party at the
yes,
Buck.
I did.
And we'll leave that there.
And thank God for a decision maker sled that night.
Yeah.
Helped to keep him standing on his 2 feet.
Yes. I hope his family's not watching right now.
I doubt it.
I'm sure it don't matter.
No.
Well, we've reached that hour mark, so
Wow,
it's
doesn't
pretty-
feel like it.
pretty easy. I hope you didn't forget that. If anybody has any questions, real quick, Clint, keep it clean. For Andy or Joan, please, we'll give you a few minutes to chime in here real quick if you want to have anything to ask Andy or Joan.
Did Dave Kaufman get
Okay.
on tonight?
Yes,
He
yes.
was, yeah.
Dave was.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, he's
Hi,
on. He's here.
Dave.
Yep. Dave is here.
Well, that's good. Now he can't. Now he can't say that he hasn't seen Andy and I.
There you go. There you go.
Oh.
Okay, and Clint's want to give a shout out to Terry from the Buck, who had surgery on his shoulder. I need both of mine done, so
Yeah, he had one totally replaced.
Yeah.
So,
I ain't looking forward to that one day.
Well.
Yep.
here's a neat story about Clint. Back years ago, we used to put semi hitches on for
Mhm.
street trucks. You had to hit semis so you could pull street semis.
Right.
Well, now we use a forklift with a fork where we used to. Well, back in the day, you had a chain hanging, had a boom on the loader, and you had to have a chain, so somebody had to direct it. So Clint would run the loader, and I'd run the hitch, and then slam the hitch into the fifth wheel.
Mm-hmm.
So, and everybody would say how smooth that went. I said, well, Clint knew what I needed, and I didn't even have to look around. He could just tell what I needed. So it was always a lot of work, but it was fun to do. So
It's a good thing because, boy, he'd be talking about you, that's for sure. Anthony Hamrick, is there a favorite track to work at?
A favorite track.
I'd say it's a toss-up between Lebanon and the Buck.
Lebanon and the Buck.
Hmm.
Lebanon is a very good track, too.
I was gonna say Lebanon's a good track.
Nice
Yeah,
facility.
Lebanon's a very good track.
Yep.
Good group of guys up there. So, I can't say, they're my two favorites. There's a lot of good places. It's a drive, but I like going to Pocomoke City. It's fun to go down there.
And we have a new pool. It was just announced in Delmar.
Yep,
Mhm.
Delmar.
Okay,
And
Clint's got a.
Of course, you go to Easton, down to Tuckahoe, and do La Plata. And,
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Gratz Fair. I remember going up there. We would take the what we could equipment from the Buck up, like the measuring equipment and the limer and all that, and go up there, and Clint would do the track. Remember going up to
Okay.
Gratz Fair? We used to do a show up there. I went up there once
Interstate's
or
back
twice.
up there now.
Huh? Yeah.
Interstate's there now.
Yeah, on the horse
Yep,
track.
that's fair.
Yep, they go in, scrape all the gravel dust off, and
Yep.
make a track.
Yep, we did the same thing.
Thursday night.
So I can't remember when it was. I just remember. I think it was during the week too when we used to go up there. So
It had to be Thursday because they race horses Friday and Saturday.
it had to be when it was. I was only there once. I think once, maybe twice. So
Very
Yeah.
good. Okay. Well, that's all I have. Thanks for coming on, Andy. Joan, you got anything to say? I mean, we'd gladly turn the spotlight on you.
mhm.
The world's greatest video camera lady right here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Red-
Girl can
Registration
film, I'm
girl.
telling you. Yep,
registration
she's registration
girl.
girl for East Coast Pro Pooling, and when I can get her to film nowadays, she's
Yeah.
usually a busy person now. So
Yeah, she's usually sitting in the registration trailer.
Yeah, and guess I'm gonna be doing some announcing this year.
Really?
okay, I need one. I need one new camera person.
Yeah.
Thank you, Trackside Live. What's her name again? I'm sorry.
Jess.
Jess. Thank you, Jess. Thanks for joining in. And get ready because we are going to bring you in here, Jess.
Oh, I already told her. Get
okay.
ready.
Yeah, absolutely. I know you got some events in Florida coming up in February, so maybe towards the end of January we'll get a Wednesday night and get you in here, and you can tell us all about it. And I'll try to make Kendra behave. So,
What? How many
anyway,
shows did John asked you to? And then what? John asked you to announce at what 3 or 4 shows next year. So
Facebook user yo, whoever you are, hi,
Yo.
whatever. Yeah, yo.
Yo.
Wow. She's looking forward to it. That's awesome. Good deal. We'll set
And
that
she
up.
said, good
Kendra,
luck with me behaving. Yeah, I'll
Kendra,
set it up.
you set that up for the end of January, Kendra.
Got it.
let's just pick the last Wednesday in January. Would that be
Well,
a
she
good
said
time
she
frame?
might be en route to Ocala, but she's gonna figure it out.
Okay.
No, we
This-
don't speak Spanish.
No Espanol. Sorry. But you were saying something, Jen, when I interrupt you. I'm sorry. I don't remember what it was.
Talking about her
Oh,
announcing.
talking about her new duties.
Yeah. Yep, helping Gloria with the registration trailer, and John called, asked if I would announce a couple different places. I guess I'm doing Greensboro. They asked me to come back and do both of their shows this year.
Good.
Yeah.
We were talking about Sugar Grove. That is where I made my debut and finale with announcing.
Oh, I've done it so many for truck pools, antiques. Last year at Greensboro, that was the very first time I had done
East Coast.
an
show.
East Coast show, and unfortunately had to do
Yeah.
a speech for Robert Martin, which probably is hardest thing I ever had to write in my life. 'Cause he just he was an amazing man, and yes, it still
Oh, yeah.
gets to me.
Yeah, we can hear it in your voice. Yeah, we miss Robert. We really do.
Yeah, the pooling world lost an amazing man and a great pooler and competitor, and I think about the Martins a lot and wonder, hope they're doing well, and hope to get to see them come down the track again this year. I know Josh said him and Brandy would be back, so I hope
I
they
think
do.
they have every intention of running this year.
That's good.
That's awesome.
I
That's
think
what-
that's moving pretty high on the priority list.
That's good, because that's what Pop would want.
Yep.
He'd want to see him go down the
Mhm.
track.
Yep.
Oh. What are you reading, JR?
I got this sidebar over here. Somebody's giving us the dickens about not doing Spanish, I guess. But sorry, I actually don't know how to simulcast in Spanish. It's something new to me.
No hablo español.
Okay. I just heard myself talk again.
Yeah, I was
All right.
looking to see who it was.
Okay. Who is it?
That's the
Is it
guy
somebody we know?
in the background.
Okay.
Nobody I know, but
Okay. All right. Well, we appreciate you coming on, Joan and Andy. And
Yeah, it was
Thanks
fun.
for having us.
absolutely. Absolutely. We learned all about the hooking. I'll tell you one more thing. Give us the procedure when that vehicle backs up. Another thing you're good about is getting them centered that the driver can see you when they're backing into the sled and stuff. And
Yeah. When you if you're standing there watching and it don't look like much, I hold one hand up. One hand's marked center. Because a lot of times they don't know, and you can't always go by the hook. Because in some cases, I have the hooks laying not exactly in center. So I put one hand up as center. And then the other hand is to direct them back how far and where to stop, when to stop, and which way they need to go. Like the trucks ain't so bad, but like tractors, anything, it's like a two-wheel drive. You know what I mean? Like four-wheel drive stuff ain't so bad because the whole four wheels down. But like tractors and mods and two-wheelers, they like to get up. So I like to keep them straight. And they like to be straight.
sure.
Because that's...
well, and it's so hard when you're backing up too.
Right,
You
you
know, a
can't
lot of them
tell.
you can't turn around very far, or
Right. Some of
they
them
got the
can't.
helmet on. Yeah.
Right. Some of them you even see that's why they let one shoulder strap the 5-point harness off because they can't the turn. You know, like Kevin
Right.
Windsor, I don't know how he does a big guy like that. And he can turn around in
That is a slim cage, man. Yeah.
You know, so
Yeah. So
then
when that
then
tractor's
when you back in, after they get backed in, I get them backed in about a foot away. Then I'll put the safety hook in, the main hook in, and then do the kill. So, because then I'm always afraid if I don't do the kill first that I'm going to catch it and kill somebody right there at the sled.
right.
Which I have done that. I always do it last. Now, the only time it changes is when I go to Frederick because we pull downhill. I do the main chain first, and then I do the safety last because guys have a tendency to ease off the brakes and then they roll front, and then you can't get the hook because the main is shorter than the safety chain. So,
Speaking from experience, see there?
yep. And then you run out around the mud flat and tell them to pull front and signal to the sled guy, turn the green light on, and
Make sure the chain's not twisted. Make sure it's nice.
Right.
Yep.
Right.
Well, that comes with
and that's
the final point.
right. I'm pointing front to tell the guy to pull front at the same time. On tractors, not so much, but with trucks, you can look through and see if the chain's not twisted. But on tractors, you got to look back around the tire. And then as I'm walking back, I look back to see it. And then usually that's when I start pointing to the sled operator. And then they know if they see me go back in, of course, you're checking the kill to make sure they're slack in the kill. You don't want to, tight kill cable because you might kill them. You know how tractors are with the guillotine. They'll don't take much. So
there you have it. Not every track's the same.
right. Not every tractor's the same. Not every sled's the same. So
right. Correct. Okay. I'm going to pull the plug. Thanks for coming on, you two. Joan, I assume you're all done then, or?
Yep. It's been fun. So
Joan has left the room.
Nah,
I'm sitting.
Kendra?
I'm
Klub
the one
Kendra.
holding the phone, so I can't.
I got you.
Yet.
Yeah, your hand's going to go numb here soon.
Nope, I'm all done.
Okay. Well, with that, we'll be here next Wednesday.
Possibly with Trackside Live.
Yeah, I guess you're right. Yeah, it's a good chance we may have her on here next Wednesday. I'm going to let Kendra take care of that and let me know, and that'll be interesting. New blood to break in.
Well, she has an interesting pulling background too, so
Good,
we'll let her talk about that. So
very good. Sounds good to me. So go ahead and get her scheduled and let me know.
Yep.
It's so easy to just point fingers. You do it. You do it. You do it. Okay,
That's why
Joan,
you're the
Andy.
boss man.
No, I'm not the boss man. No. She's the boss. Trust me. No, JR, you can't do that. We're going to do it this way.
you can't say that.
Yeah, Andy's got it right. Women got to keep it straight in this world, man.
No.
Trust me. I know. That way. So, anyway.
He's not even sure which way she is right now.
Oh yeah, Andy. That's another thing. Clint just brought up that Andy needs to get his rest. He's got a big snowstorm coming on Sunday night.
Yep, you're right.
Yeah, we're supposed to have a Keystone meeting Monday, but I don't. I'm not one that's going to be driving 3 hours in that crap. So,
Yep.
unless, I mean,
Maybe it won't
not
happen.
not that weather forecaster's word is gold. So
Yeah.
we'll see. But and I do have a meeting this Tuesday night for Mason Dixon pools. So lots of stuff coming up. The work keeps piling up. So okay. You guys hang out here for a second. I'm going to go ahead and get this closed out, and we'll see you next Wednesday, possibly with Trackside Live. We'll see how that works out for us. But like, subscribe, share, and remember, daily we post videos every day. It's not always the new stuff. I only got so much new stuff, but man, I've got albums and albums and albums of old stuff. So, thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next Wednesday. Maybe.
See ya.
See ya. Everybody say bye now.
Bye.
Bye.